In this episode, I make the cabin weathertight. I install the door and the windows.
It works.
And I cover the walls with boards. And I run the wiring for the cabin's electricity. And I start a boat build along with my friend Lucas at True North. If you want to see the start of the cabin build, where I raise the walls etc., then you can check out the previous video. Now, without further ado, let's get into today's video. To manage the cable through the corner here, I had to saw up an opening. I had never ran wiring previously to this, but with the help of the internet I could figure out how. To manage the cable through the corner here, I had to firstly bend the wires a little bit, then I could get it through both the holes. I am drilling the hole 2 mm wider for an easy run through. Here is where the kitchen is going to be, so I'm going to need quite a few outlets here. So this cable will be for all the outlets in the cabin, in the kitchen, in the sleeping loft, the living room, etc. Now I'm sure that if an electrician would watch this, he definitely has more sophisticated methods, but I'm sure that this will work out as well. I found the corner to be a little bit tricky. Here comes the power to the sleeping loft. And here comes the 3-phase cable for the stove. Now I could install the kitchen windows. As you can see, the cabin is built on wheels, so it is transportable. I built it portable like this to not have to deal with building permits. Be a little bit tricky to make the hinges align perfectly, simultaneously, but this went pretty well.
It works.
When I installed this window, I came from a pretty poor position. I couldn't properly see the hinges, so it was more challenging. I find that the windows are pretty easy to lift up in the beginning, but after a while they become pretty heavy to hold. With increasing shoulder fatigue, I manage now to just get it in place. Now I cover the rest of the wall here with boards with the help of my father. It was necessary to slice off a few centimeters from this board in order to get a good alignment in regards to the windows. It is pleasurable to work with cordless tools, and this battery-driven circular saw was just the right tool for this job. Here comes the main window, whereby I will have the kitchen table. Here comes the door frame, which I leveled thoroughly. To determine if a door frame is square, the pros will measure it diagonally using a couple of boards like this and drawing lines on them. I can see that the diagonals measure the same. I can now put in the door. The door also becomes heavier the longer you lift it, and it is absolutely necessary to align the hinges perfectly. I got it! Now before I have installed the handle here, I can use this. Now I am mounting outlets just above the kitchen bench here. I have used a nail gun throughout this project, and I have not been disappointed. It is very efficient to put up boards in this way. Drink some coffee. I forgot it in my last video, and someone reminded me of the traditional skål. So skål! Like huge amounts after like 4 or 5 o'clock, then my sleep can get disrupted. Some days I drink like 20 of these a day. I find it quite nice to drink a lot of coffee in the morning. I proceeded to cover this entire front wall with these boards. I was told by an old-timer that air-powered tools are the worst for your hearing and your ears. Way worse than beating sounds from a hammer, etc. So I try to keep hearing protection on when I'm using the nail gun. The smaller window you can see here is the loft window, but I did not film when I installed it.
One cannot only work. Need to get in some training as well.
I'm going to have a sleeping loft. Here I'm going to have a stove, and I'm gonna run the pipe on the exterior of the wall, because if I ran it like straight up here now, it would go through the loft and it would be in the way up there. Then here I'm going to have a kitchen table. I think it's gonna be pretty cozy here with this big window. And then over here is the kitchen itself. And I place the windows here in such a height that I can, when I work here, I will easily see the nice view of the landscape. To initiate the boat build, I now lay down an order for some marine Okium plywood. Lucas has entrusted me to initiate the build of the Power Cat. We might build it here on the land here, and then we're gonna build a hall first. We might also build it in one of the barns around here. It's a little bit challenging because the barns are usually filled with stuff already, but I'm sure we'll find a good way. After only a few days I received the plywood, and I would now load it on my truck here and drive it out to the cabin. Deload the plywood here and put it in the cabin. The boat is going to be a catamaran build, so we are going to use 2 pontoons, and I will cut out all the bulkheads. The marine Okium plywood is now stored in the cabin. The boards will have the gutters attached to them, and the gutters will take the water from the roof and lead it away from the house. Now I could mount the barge board that protects from sideway wind exposure. And now, to complete the roof protection from sideways wind and rain, we add this gable flashing. Continuing with the boat build, I'm going to cut out these bulkheads now. And first off, I will cut out pieces that are 122 centimeters by 50 centimeters. Now we're going to cut out a 45-degree angle here. And we're gonna leave space here. This lake is huge and you cannot see land on the other side of it. It is described as being an inland ocean. That's all I have for you in this episode. There is still much work to do on the cabin, especially on the inside. So stay tuned for more cabin building, boat building, and you can follow on Instagram for more regular updates. Thanks a lot for watching.